The origins of the human race have been told through countless stories over the centuries. Some believe we were crafted by a supreme being who created both humanity and the world we live in. Others argue that humans are merely an advanced evolution of existing beings shaped through time. But then there's another story, one that suggests we were created by powerful deities who descended to Earth long ago, not to save the world, but to mine its gold. In their search for gold, they needed a workforce, and they created man, a lesser yet remarkable version of themselves. This latter version resonates more on what is widely believed about the Anunnaki. For centuries, this narrative has sparked considerable controversy among historians, mainstream scholars, and archaeologists. Some argue that the Anunnaki are just mythological figures worshipped in the ancient Sumerian and other cultures. Others believe they were more than myth. They were real divine beings who created humans. Yet some claim that they were not divine beings at all, but simply extraterrestrial beings who had an impact on early life hominids. However, in all of these stories and controversies, there's a common ground. The Anunnaki have something to do with the creation and civilization of man. In this video, we will dive into these stories and beliefs to explore whether Earth was truly an experiment by the Anunnaki. Let's get started. In Sumerian stories about the Anunnaki, they refer to them as powerful gods who descended from the heavens to Earth. The name Anunnaki can be translated to mean those of royal blood, sons of Anu, or those who came from the sky. This gets more interesting as many researchers and theorists connect this to the ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets, written over 6,000 years ago. These tablets record that the Anunnaki were responsible for governing human affairs and influencing civilization. However, there's another ancient theory known as the ancient astronaut theory, and those who believe in this theory say that the Anunnaki were directly involved in the creation and evolution of humanity. This theory reached a broader audience in the 20th century when writers like Zecharia Sitchin interpreted Sumerian mythology in a radically new way. Sitchin said that the Anunnaki were not mere mythological figures, but advanced extraterrestrial beings who were directly involved in the creation and evolution of humanity. According to Zecharia Sitchin and others who support this theory, the Sumerian texts suggest that humans were not the result of a slow, natural evolutionary process, but rather the product of genetic engineering by these advanced extraterrestrial beings. In his book titled The 12th Planet, Zecharia Sitchin explained that the Anunnaki came from a distant planet called Nibiru, sometimes referred to as the 12th planet in our solar system. Nibiru has an elongated orbit and only passes near Earth once every 3,600 years. According to Sitchin, the Anunnaki arrived on Earth during one of these close encounters, seeking gold. The gold was needed to repair their home planet, and Earth, rich in this resource, became their target. They were said to have established a mining operation here, but eventually found the work too difficult. This led them to the genetic engineering of humans to serve as a labor force. To support this theory, Sitchin interprets the ancient Sumerian creation poem, known as the Enuma Elish, as a description of the Anunnaki's efforts to create the workforce. In this poem, Enki, one of the Anunnaki gods who was Anu's son and the half-brother of Enlil, plays an important role in this story. Enki, also known as Ea in Akkadian mythology, was the god of wisdom, water, and creation. Sitchin's interpretations of this poems present Enki as a kind of genetic scientist. He is said to have mixed the genes of the existing hominid species with those of the Anunnaki, creating a new hybrid species now known as the Homo sapiens or humans. The Sumerian texts also refer to the first humans as Lulu Amalu, which Sitchin interprets to mean the mixed one or the worker, further supporting the theory that humans were created to serve the Anunnaki. However, this genetic engineering didn't stop at the first generation of humans. According to these theories, the Anunnaki continued to manipulate human DNA to create various versions of Homo sapiens over time. Another story story, similar to the stories of Sitchin but quite different, is the story of Ninhursag, also known as Mami or Nintu, giving birth to the first man. According to this story, Anunnaki's initial attempts at creating a fully functioning human didn't go as planned. The beings they created were not viable or capable of fulfilling the tasks they were designed for. These gods noticed that these early human prototypes were slow to finish their tasks, but were good at reproduction. In one account, the Anunnaki became frustrated with their failed attempts to create a suitable human species. It was then that one of their leaders decided to take a more direct approach. This story tells us that one of the Anunnaki gods, Ninhursag, often referred to as the mother goddess in Sumerian mythology, decided to take an experimental step alongside Enki, the god associated with creation. Ninhursag carried a genetically modified human embryo in her womb. After a prolonged gestation period of 10 months instead of the usual 9, she gave birth to the first fully functional human, a new being designed to work in the mines and perform labor for the Anunnaki. According to the story, the purpose of this genetic engineering was to create a hybrid species that combined the strength and adaptability of Earth's early hominids with the intelligence and advanced traits of the Anunnaki. People like Billy Carson, a well-known figure in alternative history, ancient civilization, and extraterrestrial research, believe that Enki added a little more of the Anunnaki gene than that of the hominids, which made some of the gods angry, as they speculated that humans may possess the power to become greater than them if they discover themselves well enough. Supporters of this theory argue that the sudden leap in human intelligence and civilization around 300,000 years ago supports this claim. They point to the emergence of complex societies, technological advancements, and the development of writing systems like cuneiform in ancient Mesopotamia as evidence of outside intervention. Of course, not everyone accepts the Anunnaki theory. Mainstream historians and scientists are quick to point out that there is no concrete evidence to support the idea of extraterrestrial genetic manipulation. Sumerian texts are metaphorical, not literal descriptions of historical events. The creation myths, while fascinating, are seen as symbolic stories meant to explain the origins of life and the relationship between humans and the gods. They are simply our imaginations. Humans do that all the time. Moreover, modern science already offers a natural explanation for the evolution of Homo sapiens, supported by extensive fossil and genetic evidence. The rapid advancements in human intelligence and civilization are often attributed to natural selection, environmental pressures, and the development of social cooperation and language. Besides, these interpretations of ancient texts are too speculative and heavily rely on translations and assumptions that mainstream scholars do not support. Yet, to ancient astronaut theorists, the notion that the Anunnaki were responsible for humanity's development provides a compelling explanation for some of the gaps in our understanding of early human history. Back to the question, was Earth and the human race an experiment for the Anunnaki? The simple answer is, it depends on who you ask. Everyone who knows about this story seems to have evidence supporting their perspective of
whether the Anunnaki were real beings or just something drawn out of the Sumerian myths. If you enjoyed this video, follow us for more content on ancient myths and legends you don't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.